How do we channel this public mood into something positive which will actually bring about change? Well, the way politics is going on as usual, it doesn't seem that the message has got across, at least to the people sitting in the corridors of power in New Delhi. Let me go across to Shai, who's with our young politicians, two of them, Shaina NC, well-known fashion designer, also with the BJP, and Milind Deora, MP from South Mumbai. They're at Marine Drive, again at a rally to remember those who lost their lives. Shai, if we can begin with Milind Deora, if I can, I don't know if Milind can hear me, but if you could ask him, Shai, when he sees this current lobbying going on, he asked for Vilas Rao Deshmukh to be accountable, but there's still lobbying going on who will replace him, who's of the right caste to be acceptable to Sharad Pawar and the NCP. What can he say? How does he defend this as a politician?
Okay, Milind, if I could begin by asking you, when you see this kind of lobbying, you yourself have criticized, criticized some of the actions of the Chief Minister, but when you see this kind of lobbying for who should replace Vilas Rao, the kind of casteist politics that's going on, how do you feel about it?
Well, let me start by saying that whatever I've said in the last few days, even if it means being critical of the government, being critical of my own party perhaps, I've said it as someone who's not an MP. I've said it as someone who's lived for 31 years in this city and who is a Mumbaikar first before I'm a politician. I think what's happened in the last few days, the kind of anger and frustration directed at all politicians and the entire political class of India, across all political parties, has been that in a time of crisis, in a time where people wanted leadership, people wanted direction, people wanted compassion, it's almost as if our political class took mud and rubbed it all over our face. So I share the sentiments of people in the city, but I think we have to now ask what happens going forward. Do we continue to criticize all politicians? Do we continue to say that I don't want the government to be in Mumbai and I want Mumbai to be without government and I'm frustrated with all politicians? That's not a solution that's workable. I think. But then
when you see this kind of repeated insensitivity shown on the part of politicians, do you feel, there's any redemption really?
I'll tell you what I feel at a personal level. I feel ashamed to be a politician, very honestly. I feel when I tell people I'm a politician and people know me as perhaps Milind Deora, MP, a politician, I feel ashamed. And I think the last few days, it's difficult because people have such a strong reaction to politicians, which I think is totally justified.
Shaina, do you feel like that too? Do you feel today that you're ashamed to be a politician? When you see these messages behind on these banners, they're all overwhelmingly against politicians. As much as they support the cops and the commandos, they also speak against the politicians.
I pretty much share Milind's sentiment, but at the same time, I must tell you that when you have NGOs like I Love Mumbai, etc. working, of course it's easier because people want to come for the cause. Moment you say that you're politically aligned, even people from the different sections of society resist it. But I think what the Mumbaikar is really put off by is celebrity appearances of politicians, which we've seen in the past few days. You have a Vilas Rao, you have an R.R. Patil. I don't even want to mention all their names by giving them importance, but they come to sites such as the Taj or the Trident. They give a half-an-hour security visit where they have their entire battalion of security forces. They give a media bite and they disappear. I think what the Mumbaikar really wants is youngsters like us and many others who are there hands-on, like a Rudy Giuliani, what he did in New York, where you had the twin blasts and you had, you
mentioned Vilas Rao and R.R. Patil, but perhaps one of the most insensitive remarks came from a BJP minister, Mr. Naqvi, who in fact spoke out against campaigns like this, saying that
you should have heard me yesterday on your channel. I spoke out against that too. It's not about BJP Congress. I think all of them should think before speaking, and that definitely is the issue. But I also right now, I would rather be known as a social activist and somebody who's working with I Love Mumbai and Giants rather than being known as the BJP spokesperson. That's the honest truth right now.
So Milind, how do politicians begin to redeem themselves? Where does the change come?
Well, I think they have to do that by their actions. I think as of this point, the city is tensed politically in the sense that the average person, and let me be honest, I put myself in that person's shoes because when I'm at home, I'm a regular person looking at my television and getting extremely annoyed looking at politicians across parties make statements. So I think the first thing politicians should do, excuse my language, is shut up if they can't say something constructive. If they have something constructive to say in terms of what they're going to do for this city and for this country, how they're going to revamp the security establishment, a very specific pointed plan that shows that our policing capabilities are going to be significantly enhanced, then they should come out and speak. If they've got comments to talk about lipstick and other things, they should keep their mouth shut and keep it to themselves.
All right. Thank you, Milind. Very strong words, as you can see, Sonia, both from Milind Deora and from China NC. Shut up and show the other side to it, show the social activism spirit that China has tried to show today in the signature campaign. That is the way forward. That seems to be the message coming from these young politicians from Mumbai.